Mourners, led by Australian cricket captain Michael Clarke, are converging on the small rural town of Macksville ahead of Wednesday's funeral service for Phillip Hughes, as the Test batsman's birthplace becomes the epicenter of a nation's grief. Australian PM Tony Abbott pays tribute to Phil Hughes in Parliament. Clarke will act as a pallbearer at the funeral, which will be attended by past and present cricketers from throughout the world, by politicians and other dignitaries, and which will be televised live throughout Australia. Players still not ready for rescheduled tests. Cricket Australia. Hughes' former Australian Test teammates will be present to pay their last respects and to further express the grief that has racked the team since the 25-year-old batsman died Thursday, 2 days after being hit in the head by a short-pitched bouncer delivery during a domestic match at the SCG. Kohli, Fletcher and Shastri to add in Hughes' funeral. More than 5,000 mourners are expected at the service in Macksville, which has a population of less than 3,000 people. They will include many of the greats of Australian and world cricket, and representatives of most cricketing nations. There will be 3 Australian captains and greats: Sean Warne and Glenn McGrath, Sir Richard Hadlee from New Zealand, India's standing captain Virat Kohli, team director Shastri and coach Duncan Fletcher. Michael Clarke's emotional tribute to brother Phil Hughes. Geographically and emotionally, the Australian players will be far removed from the Adelaide Oval, where the first test of a rescheduled 4-test series against India is due to begin. Dec. 9. Australia in deep pain. Clarke. The series was to start as Brisbane's Gabba ground on Thursday, but was deferred, and the scheduled second test at Adelaide was brought forward as Cricket Australia and the Board of Control for Cricket in India rebuilt the series schedule to give players time to mourn. Cricket Australia Chief Executive James Sutherland said it was out of the question that the players should be expected to play a test match a day after the funeral of a respected teammate and treasured friend. Sutherland said he would understand if, for some players, emotions were still too raw next Tuesday to face the challenge of Test cricket, and any player who felt unready for that match could withdraw without recrimination. Any player that is not comfortable or doesn't feel right, or there is medical advice to suggest they're not quite right, then we will obviously understand that, he said. I'm sure the broader public will understand that as well, he said.